Hi everyone. On behalf of the midwives all across New Zealand, we just wanted to put together a message for you to explain what you can expect in terms of your midwifery care during this unusual time that we find ourselves in. Our world has changed so much in the last week. It's kind of hard to believe that, 8 days ago we were all out and about as usual, and now we're in this very uncharted territory of having to stay at home in our bubbles as much as possible. We realise that for women who are pregnant or having a baby through this time, there's some potentially extra worry and stress around what that means for you as a pregnant woman and for your newborn baby as well. We'd like to reassure you that as far as we know at this stage, being pregnant and having a baby doesn't necessarily put you at increased risk of adverse outcomes from COVID-19. However, we would really like to let you know that it's super important that you keep within your own bubble and just really minimise that contact with extra people, others outside of your bubble through this time. So for us as midwives, we've had to really have a good think about the way it is that we're providing this essential service to you through this time. And we really want to make sure that you're aware our service will continue and your midwife will be there and available for you when you need her. Obviously, when you're having a baby, that's going to happen regardless of what's going on in the outside world, and so it's really key that you know we will respond when you're needing our service through this time. What you may notice is that there might be some differences in the way that you receive your midwifery care, and that might, for example, be that rather than always having a face-to-face catch-up with your midwife, some of the visits might be done over the phone or by a video call. Obviously, we have to be really mindful of potential exposure for ourselves around the COVID-19 virus. So you'll notice that your midwife will be asking some questions before she does a visit with you, just to check whether there's any risk factors in your bubble, in your home situation, around potential exposure or symptoms for COVID-19. That's a really important way that we can make sure we're keeping ourselves safe so that we can continue providing our essential service to all the women and babies that we look after, and also to make sure that we're responding to your health situation and providing the care that you need through this time. So for that reason, it's really important that you do let us know if you have any of the risk factors that might have exposed you to COVID-19, and that would include having contact with someone who's recently travelled overseas, having contact with someone who's got symptoms of COVID-19 or has been diagnosed with it, or having any of those symptoms yourself. Please do let us know if any of those things apply to you and you're due to catch up with your midwife. We will have different ways of working for women who are known to have a COVID-19 infection, or if we suspect that that's the case, and your individual midwife will talk you through what extra precautions she'll take to make sure that you can still get the care that you need, but also that we're keeping everybody else safe around that potential infection risk. So, in terms of where you might see your midwife, some of the visits you might see her at home. Sometimes you might have what we now call a virtual visit by phone or video, and some midwives are still asking women to come into a clinic room to have a checkup there. You will get to know which of those is the right option for you at the different time by speaking with your midwife. With regards to where you have your baby, where you give birth at this time, the options that we've always had still exist for the vast majority of women. So you have choices ranging from being in a hospital setting, a birthing unit environment, or a home birth setting. The only situation in which those choices might change is if we suspect or know that you're currently infected with COVID-19, in which case that conversation will happen with your midwife. We are noticing that quite a few women are preferring to change their birth plan to minimise their risk of exposure at this time, and that for us looks like an increase in the number of women choosing to give birth at home. We really want to let you know that you will still have midwifery care if that is where you choose to have your baby, and for healthy, well women and babies, home birth is actually a really good potential option for you. So you can talk those choices through with your midwife as well. For women who are choosing to have their baby at home through this time, it's really super important that you keep your bubble of people small and keep it the same all the way through. So really important that you're not having contact with new people within that. So you do need to have a think about who you might have present at your birth, and just make sure that those people don't have any risk factors for exposure. In terms of the care after your baby is born, you'll still receive all the essential visits and checkups that we normally offer, and that includes things like weighing and checking your baby, making sure that you're recovering well from the birth, offering breastfeeding support and advice as well. So those things will stay the same. Obviously, the understanding and information that's coming out around how we understand COVID-19 and how we work within this new environment is rapidly changing. So new information is coming online every day, and sometimes the advice and the ways that we're working are changing quite quickly as well. So we want to let you know that in the first instance, obviously, make contact with your midwife if you have any questions or you're not sure about anything in particular. But also, the College of Midwives have a website which is fully up to date with all the latest information and advice for you and also for your midwife. You'll find that website at midwife.org.nz, and we really encourage you to go on there and have a look and see what resources are available. There's some frequently asked questions on there that you can have a look at and help improve your understanding around the current advice from all the experts in the area. The College of Midwives are in daily contact with both the Ministry of Health and the district health boards around the country, and so you can rely on that advice being the most up to date and in agreement with those fairly important institutions as well. So we encourage you to stay safe, stay in your bubble, and just know that your midwifery service is going to be there to support you right through this really important time, and we wish you all the best.